안녕하세요. We left New York 10 days ago. We moved to Malaysia, was there for a couple days, and here we are in Korea for the weekend. How did we end up here? Well, when we moved to Malaysia, our condo actually wasn't ready yet. We didn't finalize our lease. It was all pending, and that's been a point of frustration for me for a while. But I was doing it anyway. I was trusting the process, and as we got there, we were still in the details of the negotiation, and we didn't have anywhere to stay. We do have a very good friend who's letting us stay at his very nice home. So we're quite comfortable and we're very well taken care of. But even if that's true, it just feels unsettling. I feel like we're in the in-between. Whenever friends from Malaysia had welcomed us, said, finally you're here, welcome home, I hear it, I process it intellectually, but it just doesn't feel real, or it doesn't feel like we've moved. It feels like just another Asia trip. It feels like we're staying at a hotel, and the only difference that I really feel is I don't have any keys for my New York home. So we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs, and we couldn't even furniture shop. We didn't have an address formally. We didn't even know our measurements. We can only see a floor plan. So our friends were visiting from New York in Korea and invited us to come on down, and we said, you know what, let's just go. And to be honest, there's a lot of things that we could be doing, but I felt this in-between was a lot of suffering. Like, I want to do so much, but I can't do so much. And if I do so much now, if I do too much now, it might not count later. That includes our visa, not done. That includes our condo, not done. The only thing we finished was handing over our keys in our New York apartment. But it's just been unsettling. And I've intellectually told myself, everything's on the way, not in the way. I've told myself there's nothing that's happening right now that isn't what you want. But I still feel this way. I tell myself, just trust the process. But I still feel this way. So to be honest with you, a part of going to Korea was for a little distraction. I'll admit, it's a really good distraction. The food here is amazing. Like, I've been here before, Carlos' first time, but this time feels like another first time. I don't know if it's because of the neighborhood we're visiting, the company that we're with, or it's just been a while since I've been here, but everything we've been eating has just been a 10 out of 10. Everywhere we've been going has been an amazing experience. Within our friend group, we do have some Korean native speakers, so it's been very nice being passenger princess. I think it's very normal for me to do the research, the organizing, the scheduling, and it's not often that I get to be a passenger princess. I kind of like it. It's nice. The shopping here has been amazing. I've been holding myself back quite a bit because I keep telling myself, I'll be back. Of course, people ask, are you going to do any treatments? Are you going to do any skin clinics? I've thought about it, and my Instagram had been flooded with all these influencers saying, if you go to Korea, do this. If you don't go to Korea, don't do that. But I decided to go for a more educational approach. So I signed us up for this skincare academy of some sort. And what they did is they spent 3 hours educating us about our own skin, about how our skin reacts to certain things, environmental, and they really broke down a skincare routine for each of us. And it was just 4 of us in a private session for 3 hours. It was amazing. Of course, they tried to recommend us some things at the end, but the majority of the energy was about educating us and telling us about what's available in the market. They gave us a long list of skincare products and brands to try out from Olive Young once we got out of there. And they weren't pushy at all, and I just absolutely loved it. I walked out of there feeling a little overwhelmed at first because I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. But after a couple nights of sleeping on it, I was like, I want to do more for my skin. If the people here in Korea has figured something out and found a solution to a problem that I don't yet understand, then I'm not gonna take the long way and figure it out myself. So I did buy some things from Olive Young. I want to try it, see if it makes an impact on my skin, and go from there. I did ask him an interesting question. I said, do you think there's any company or products that's in Olive Young that just flat out doesn't work, like shouldn't even be there? And he said, no, because something works different for everybody. And I was like, that's so interesting. So I think it's a matter of me having an intention about what I'm targeting or what I want to try. Not subjecting myself too much into what other influencers are saying, doesn't work, don't do this, and just really taking it slow. I think this is a lifelong journey, and I want to feel confident in the products I use and not overpay and use too much, because I've definitely fallen into that trap before. So we all loved it so much. We ate even more food, drank a lot of coffee, and I loved every second of it. I've been to Korea before, and I already loved it. But I think this trip has given me a deeper love for it, just from my experiences and all the options that are available to us. But the part that I've been holding back a lot on the shopping, on the skincare, on the treatments is I keep telling myself, I'm gonna be back, it's not that far. And it's true. If I was coming from New York, not knowing when the next time I'll be in Korea, honestly, I would probably have a new suitcase with a lot of skincare, which I've done before and did not go through all of them. But I would buy way too much. But it's kind of nice being down the street from Korea. Now, I know a lot of my Southeast Asians will disagree. So we're having dinner, and we told our friends at our dinner, said, oh, we're just gonna go to Korea for a weekend. They looked at us and like, you're gonna fly all the way to Korea for one weekend? And I was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? They're like, it's so far. Oh my God. And in retrospect, I realized they're from Singapore. Anything above 20 minutes for a Singaporean is too far. And I shared with her, I was like, I'm not sure if you know, but in America, if you, specifically from New York, if you fly 6 hours, you will still be in America. It's just a trip to LA. And I used to do that every 3 or 4 weeks for a year. So it's really not much for me. But maybe after a year or two living in Asia, I'm going to be like, oh, it's so far. But I don't know. I love Korea, so I can't see myself saying that. So Korea has been an amazing distraction. And interestingly enough, the moment I'm not paying attention, the moment I'm not trying to force things into reality, things fall into place. Our lease finally got signed. Yay! That brings so much relief to me because now we have a date. And then they sent us the measurements of the condo. Yay! That means we can finally go furniture shopping, use AI to imagine our space, start talking to an interior designer about what we want it to look like. And I think this was honestly perfect. I didn't want to do all of this because I felt like I'd be aiming in the dark or wasting my time, or that voice in the back of my head is, what if this condo doesn't go through? And I just wasted all my time. So I held back a lot. But now that this is finalized, I feel I can get really excited about furnishing, decorating, planning, and I really can't wait. I didn't know I needed it, but I did need a break from doing a lot. I think leading up to leaving New York, I didn't realize how tired I was, how physically tired I was, how mentally tired I was, and how emotionally tired I was. I think there was a lot of compartmentalizing and suppressing my emotions. And I'll be honest, since I landed in Malaysia, I was dealing with some jet lag, so that's not really the best time to process my emotions. And then we came to Korea, so technically I still haven't processed my emotions. But I feel more ready now. I'm kind of scared to open that box because I don't know what's in there. But I can't stay in this fantasy land and have fun in Korea forever. That's not why we came here. So tomorrow we go home, and I think we'll be spending days in a row researching, sitting on 1,000 couches, and finally bringing our space together, bringing our life together, and I really can't wait. So I guess I'm ready for phase 2 of this operation. I hope you enjoy the views, the food, and the journey along the way. See you then. Bye-bye.